Well, this is another segment of Chevy's Corner. I am here accompanied by Zachary Huse, who is the owner of StrengthWorks, established in 2017. The gym is located in St. Louis, Missouri, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Perfect. Tell me a little bit about yourself, Zach, and tell me a little bit about what made you get into the StrengthWorks business, to the strength and conditioning world.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me on. I appreciate you, letting me be on your platform and tell my story. But yeah, my name is Zach. I'm 28 years old, originally from Kentucky, but live in St. Louis. I went to college at the University of Kentucky, where I got a Bachelor's of Science in kinesiology, exercise science. I played football there at the University of Kentucky. And then after football, I transitioned to strength and conditioning and weightlifting because I was just a gym rat, just like most of the people that would be watching this. And just really fell in love with Olympic weightlifting, strength training in general, and just kind of, being able to have the best performance that I possibly could for myself and for others. And after I got done with college, I decided that I wanted to start coaching. Because I just felt called to do it. It kind of went with my why and why I do what I do, which we can get into in a minute. And then I just kind of bounced around gym to gym while I was also training to be, a weightlifter. My goal was to, make some sort of Team USA international squad, and that's still my goal. So that's what I'm working towards. But along the way, coaching is something that can kind of, feed my family, pay the bills, give me a cool place to train, let me meet cool people and do what I love every day. And so I've been doing that ever since. And we've grown to a point that we're at now, which is StrengthWorks here in St. Louis, a gym that I own. We've been in business, like you said, since 2017. And we started from the very bottom, having nothing, no clients, no equipment, no anything. And here we are now, over 70 members at the gym and going strong. And yeah, just looking to keep going and doing what we're doing, be consistent. And yeah, so here we are. Thanks for having me on.
Hey man, thanks for being here. I actually met you for the first time in nationals, and it was a pleasure to, just talk, hang out, and you seem like a really nice dude. So I wanted to have the opportunity to interview and learn more about you and more about why you do what you do.
Appreciate that.
Also having a mutual acquaintance being Anton, and him telling me that you're a really cool dude also made me want to support you and, let people know about your story and let people know about what you're about. And if they're in the St. Louis area to go check your gym out.
Shout out AVS Creations. Appreciate you.
Shout out to AVS Creations, Anton, aka Moontown.
Caucus. Caucus.
Yes, only you and him know what that is because I don't know what it is, which is all good.
Mr. Elkington.
So you're not only a gym owner, you're also an athlete, and I saw you competing at nationals. How'd you do at nationals?
So I made a pretty big weight cut. I've been competing for the past couple years as a super, and my best numbers are 146 snatch and a 190 clean and jerk, for a 336 total, weighing about 123, 125. And my goal is always, like I said, to make an international team for Team USA.
Yeah.
So the total I needed to hit was 340 at 109. So I dropped from 320 or 125 body weight all the way down to 109. So if you do the math, I dropped approximately, 16, 17 kilos of body weight within 6 months. Pretty significant amount of weight to lose. It's like just over 36 pounds. But I did it, just set a goal to lose 1 pound per week, every week leading up to nationals. And I ended up making my goal. I made weight at just under 109. I was like 108.6. And then I ended up snatching 145 on my second attempt. And then I went for 150 on my third and I missed barely. And then on my clean and jerks, I did 175 opener, and then I went for 182 and missed. And if I would have hit my last two lifts, I would have won bronze. So I was close to winning bronze, but not quite. But that weight cut definitely took a lot out of me. So now I'm staying at this body weight, just trying to get stronger at this lighter body weight. And then hopefully at finals, I can go in there and hit the total I want.
Okay. You're aiming for 50-90 at AO finals to put you on a team for 109s.
At least, I mean, I don't really like to put like specific numbers that I'm trying to hit X number. I just kind of have a rough goal of where I want to go. And then I let the situation and my coach dictate where I'm going based on the situation and other things. But I mean, yeah, I need to hit at least 340. So whatever combination gets me at least that'd be great. And obviously that's not going to put me like on a senior team or anything like, you've been on, but that might put me on like a bronze international team or something like that, where I could get a Team USA singlet.
Yeah.
So that's the goal. Get that singlet. That's what's driving me right now.
Hey, one step at a time, right? We gotta
Yeah.
aim high, shoot for the stars. If we land on the moon, we still made progress, right?
Yeah. That's my goal. I just really want that Team USA singlet. I want to be able to represent the Team USA on the international stage. That's been my dream since I started weightlifting when I was, snatching 60 kilos. I saw
When did
Kendrick
you
Paris.
tell me about your introduction to Olympic weightlifting? When did you start weightlifting? At what age? I mean, I know you told me that you did football when you were in college. Did you do Olympic weightlifting before you were introduced to football, or
Yeah. So when I was
how was that
16, when I
transition?
was 16 years old, I started playing football. And then obviously, for football comes lifting weights. So for the first time, I started lifting weights, and my football coach at the time just took me in the gym and he's like, all right, we're going to max out your squat. We're going to max out your clean and your bench press. And I had no idea what I was doing. I think I squatted 225, cleaned like 115, and bench pressed like 115. So pretty terrible numbers, honestly. I was surprised they even wanted me to max out at all because I had never done it. But
This is in
that's kind
pounds
of
or in kilos?
pounds. But that's kind of like,
So you back squatted 100 kilos
yeah.
ish.
And then
You
everything else was
cleaned
like
like
50 kilos.
60-ish, 55, and you bench like
Yes.
55, 60 kilos.
Yeah, it's like a sophomore in high school, never lifted a weight before. So I
Yeah.
mean, I definitely was like brand new to lifting. Um, but yeah, so that's my start. And then through high school, I played football. And, obviously, in order to get better at football, you have to get stronger and faster and more explosive. So I just became addicted to training, addicted to lifting. And my numbers shot up because I was one of the hardest workers on the team. I was just always obsessed with trying to get bigger and stronger and faster. And I ended up earning a starting spot. And then I was a captain as well. And then I
In your
went
high
to
school football
college.
team?
What'd you say?
In your high school football team, you became the captain?
Well, I became one of the captains. There was a couple, but yes, I was a captain and also a starter for the last 2 years of high school. And then I went to college.
Let's explore that for a second. Tell me about, was this the first time that you stepped into a leadership role?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, my past when I was a kid was kind of troubled, like yours as well. I mean, I got kicked out of 3 schools as a kid. I got kicked out of 2 middle schools, or no, a middle school and then 2 high schools. So I mean, I got kicked out of 3 schools as a kid. I was always getting in trouble, and it wasn't that I was a bad kid. I was a good kid, just in the wrong place at the wrong time, doing things I shouldn't have been doing. Just kind of rebellious by nature, and just kind of I learned that once I went to the school that I'm talking to you about, that if I wanted to be happy in life, that I couldn't hate everybody.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like a light bulb moment for me that, if you want to be happy, you can't just hate everyone and, be a dick all the time.
Okay.
So that kind of sparked something in me. And then I met, some forever friends, started football, found some things that I really loved in life and that I was passionate about, and that led me to being here where I'm at now.
So who introduced you to football? How did you
Well, originally I didn't want to
what was
play
the biggest,
football.
of course, now, yeah, sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to like get an idea into your head. You were troubled. You're dealing
Uh,
with problems in school. You move into this new school.
yeah.
Come to the realization that for you to be able to progress in life and to move in the right direction, you need to fix basically what you're saying is not being angry with other people.
Mhm.
It's basically an attitude change. It's a
Yeah.
self-reflecting moment where you're realizing that the behavior that you've had so far has limited your progress to be successful and move in the right direction in life.
Yeah.
Was that moment, did that moment happen because of the trouble that you had in school? Was it, do you ever remember being in a conversation with your parents or with the counselor, with the coach? Like, what do you feel sparked that change, that life change, that attitude change, that self-reflecting, I'm in control of my life and I can't allow others to control me, or the behaviors of others to influence in my anger to the point where I am no longer in control. I lose control and I do bad things. What do you feel was that moment or that conversation?
Well, I was getting suspended from schools. I was getting kicked out of schools. My mom was shedding a lot of tears, all the time, and I was getting in trouble a lot. And it just got to a point where it was just like, if you keep going down this path, you know, it's going to be hard for you to find happiness in life. And there's a lot of uncertainty at that time, like what was going to happen, how was I going to turn out, um, I was hanging around some guys that were all older than me, and I was just trying to be like, one of the guys, hardcore and tough and whatnot. And I just saw my parents being upset, and they always believed in me, and they knew that I was a good kid, and they were always trying to help me down my path, to be happy in life. So I credit a lot of that to my parents, trying to like a lot of parents, if they saw their kids getting in that much trouble, they might just like turn their backs on their kids, and or at least not good parents would do that. They would turn their backs on their kids and be like, well, you're just a piece of shit and whatever. And, whatever happens, happens. But, my parents, they always believed that I was a good person. They wanted the best for me. They supported me in all of my endeavors and all of my passions, because my passions seemed to always change. I was always finding different things that interested me. And then I'm the kind of guy that dives all in once I find something that interests me. I'm like all of my eggs in the basket kind of guy. So I'm like all or nothing. So once I find something that I love, that's just my thing until I find something else that maybe I want to explore. But my parents never gave up on me, and they kind of helped me through those times. And I just kind of realized through a lot of trial and error, if I want to, be happy and stop damaging, friendships and relationships around me, that I needed to kind of change and become more positive and, um, more caring and loving and considerate of other people's feelings. Because I think that when I was young, I just wanted to be, I wanted to be thought of as tough. I wanted to be thought of as hardcore or whatever you want to call it. And then I realized that I was placing too much thought into other people's opinions of me, and that I needed to only be focused on, my own self happiness and, what made me feel satisfied, complete, like what gave me purpose, what gave me a mission. And, I ended up going to a new school, fresh start. So for me, I was really excited because it was a fresh start. I didn't know anyone and no one knew me. No one knew my past. And, I was able to make some friends pretty quick in classes because I thought that that was an opportunity for me to really, try to be someone different and try to be someone nicer, and try to make more friends and be happier. And it worked out. And originally, like you were saying with football, my goal wasn't even to play football. I felt like I wanted some sort of outlet, like a physical outlet, because I was kind of a physical competitive guy, and getting in fights and whatnot at other schools. So I was trying to find wrestling, like a wrestling team to be a part of, but my school didn't have wrestling. So the next best thing was football. So I talked to the football coach. I was like 195 pounds in sophomore year. The football coach told me to come and be a part of the team. So I joined the team and never looked back. That was kind of my passion at that point. Lifting weights introduced me to all of that. And then that really taught me how to work hard for something, how to, if you work hard for something, you can accomplish whatever you set out to do. my coach instilled a lot of discipline in me. And, I credit my parents and my football coaches for really saving me and, showing me the way in life and kind of putting me on a different path than I was on before, and showing me how to be happy in life, how to have a family, how to have a team and family atmosphere, how to, work together, how to work towards a goal, like a common goal with more than one person, like not only thinking about myself. And all those things kind of molded me, and especially with the love of football and the love of lifting, that kind of molded me into the person I am today. And then over time it's kind of just gotten more sophisticated, and learned over trial and errors and stuff like that to the point that we're at now. But those lessons that I learned then, those are lessons that I take now to coaching, because I deal with a lot of kids, a lot of college athletes, a lot of high schoolers. I got even 8-year-olds, 8-year-olds, 10-year-olds, 12-year-olds. And a lot of the times, when problems come up, or when I see them frustrated, having trouble with lifting or with whatever, I talk to them about my experiences and the things that I went through, and tell them that, I understand where they're coming from. And this is what I did to overcome this obstacle. And so I take a lot of the stuff that I went through as a kid, the trouble that I caused for my parents, and what I learned from football and lifting. I take those and I apply that to my coaching career.
Yeah, well, it seems like you're doing a good job. You've established in 2017, still running in 2021, 70 members. So it seems like the coaching you receive, the guidance that you receive, and the mentorship that inspired you to become the man that you are today has allowed you to have the success that you have and inspire enough people to want to be surrounded by you, right? So clearly you have the right mindset, the right attitude, and you're allowing people, you're welcoming people through that aura, through that persona that you've become, right? Because we all have to become in life, we all have to evolve and work towards being that, and having the proper guidance is huge. So
Sure, definitely. So I'm very thankful for my parents and my coaches along the way. I mean, also like friends, friends that you make along the way. And I mean, I also learned from mistakes that other people made at that point in time. And you just kind of see, um, how the things that you do, they lead up to you being happy or not happy. And then
yeah,
I felt like, me being happy is something that I can control. It's like a mindset. That's what I tell people in my gym. Happiness is a mindset. A lot of times you see people come into the gym and they're all tired. And I'm like, hey, how's your day? And they say, oh, I'm tired. And I always tell them, tired's a mindset. And they always, roll their eyes at me. But I think it's true. I mean, I think that we have a lot of control over our direction in life. People think that they're just born into situations. But I mean, I think that people have a lot more control than they think. They got control over their mindset, how, if they're happy, if they're upset, they have control over how they, approach problems, how they overcome problems, their mindset over all that stuff. And then that stuff really can change the course of your life. You know what I mean? So I think that happiness is a mindset. That's what I believe is,
yeah,
if you want to put your energy into being positive and to being happy, then you're going to be happier than if you
for sure.
decide to put your energy and your focus into, being down and being a victim and, whatever. So I think that just that mindset shift right there, for me, was huge. Is just knowing that I have control over that.
Now that you're talking about mindset, I've actually read this book called Mindset by Carol Dweck. If you haven't read it, look it up on Amazon. I'm going to send you the link, and I'm going to do a video review on this bad boy soon. So if you don't want to read it, it's all good. I'll do a video review, and so you can check the content and kind of like me running through it. But it's a really good book. Basically, it runs through how to be more influential in parenting, business, school, and relationships. I haven't finished it completely, and that's why I haven't done the big book review, but I'm halfway done. So far, and one of the biggest things that I've gained of the book is there's two types of mindsets, right? I'm not going to go into and quote the book. I'm just going to kind of tell you there's two types of mindsets, and what you're saying right now. So there's the growth mindset, and I believe the other one's fixed mindset. I might be wrong on that. So the fixed mindset, fixed mindset and growth mindset is the biggest two concepts that Dr. Carol Dweck talks about in the book. And the fixed mindset is the people that believe that they can be better, they can grow, they can achieve anything. They're born with a certain amount of level of skills, and that's it. The growth mindset, on the other hand, believes that they can grow, they can work towards achieving certain goals. And that's where the stuff that you're talking about applies really well. So this might be a really good book for you to check out if
Oh, I appreciate you.
As a coach as well. I do coaching as well. We need to figure out ways to help improve people's mindsets as well, especially if they're working through the fixed mindset and they're thinking like, oh, my snatch isn't getting better, I don't think it's going to get better, or this and that, or whatever it is that they're going through their life.
Exactly.
I truly believe, just like you said, in the ability of people to grow and be better. And
that ties into my why that we were talking about before we started recording.
If you want to talk about your why now, and kind of that would be a good opportunity, because since we're talking about mindset and whys and growth.
Well, that's a good question. And I know that you also kind of want to talk about business and how I got to where I'm at with StrengthWorks, but this kind of ties into it. When I was in college, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. And the question that I always asked myself was, if money didn't exist, what would I want to do with my life, with my time, with my purpose, my mission? And because we all get so fixated on, I got to make money and I got to do this. But if that wasn't there, what would you think about? What would you do with your time? What would you do that you enjoy? So for me, that was pretty obvious at the time in college. I just wanted to train and lift and help other people lift and have a good time, bullshitting in the gym with my friends. And that's what I enjoyed doing. So to me, it was like, okay, well, how can I, monetize that and turn that into a career that also supports my passion? So it comes down to my why. That's something else that I thought about a lot, put a lot of time into. And what I came to realize was that my why was helping other people find the greatness within themselves. And what I mean by that is the same thing that I was talking about, is happiness as a mindset. Like, I feel like people have so much control over the outcome of their lives and how, they think about problems and how they approach things. But sometimes they just need help realizing those things. Like, when people come to me in the gym, I feel like that they're capable of a lot more than they might even think that they're capable of. I think that everyone has the ability to learn any skill that they want. They can learn whatever they want. They can master any skill. But, in order to do that, you got to put the time in. You have to put the effort in. You have to work on like learning the correct habits. Like I always tell my weightlifters how I do art and graphic design to fund my gym. And, a couple years ago, I had no idea how to draw anything. I could barely draw a stick figure. But at the time, I was looking for some sort of creative outlet, something where I could just kind of be creative, because I'm kind of a creative guy, and something that also can maybe make me some money, like a side hustle. So I thought that it would be cool to learn how to draw. So I started like putting in hours into like sketching, watching YouTube videos on like shading, perspective, how to draw faces, how to do all these things. And I was just putting hours and hours and hours, staying up late at night, sometimes till 3 or 4 in the morning, just learning how to do these things, how to learn Adobe Illustrator, how to, all this stuff. And over time, I built up my skills to the point where I was able to take that money that I made from selling my designs, and I was able to literally buy my gym. I was able to buy all the equipment, open my gym without debt, pay it all upfront in cash. And that's a skill that I learned, that I taught myself. So, at the time I had no idea how to draw, but then I taught myself a skill. So I always tell people at the gym that, learning once you learn how to become great at one thing, at like one skill, you can be great at anything. The process is exactly the same. You got to learn a new skill. You got to put the time in, put the effort in. You got to be consistent with your training of that skill. You have to teach yourself proper habits and whatnot, and learn through trial and error and all of this stuff. I mean, once you learn how to do, what's the difference between learning how to draw and learning how to snatch? It's the same exact operating procedures as learning any skill. It's just a question of if you want to put the time in to, accomplish that goal and to learn the skill. So that's my why, is helping other people find the greatness within themselves, whether they want to learn weightlifting, whether they want to learn how to be, more people friendly, whether they want to learn, art or whatever, how to be a better parent, whatever it may be. So I think that I have control over the greatness within me, and other people do as well. So that's my why, as why I'm a coach and why I'm an athlete, because I feel like there's greatness within me. That in me training every day, that's me trying to get that greatness out. So that's my why. That's my mission every day that keeps me going.
Solid. And that's super inspirational to be able to listen to a guy that believes in that type of stuff, because there's so many coaches and people out there that just do it for the money. But you do it because you want to see people grow. You want to see people accomplish their goals. You want to see people reach their potential, right? And I think that to be a highly successful coach, to be a highly successful business owner, you need to have that type of belief, not only in yourself, but in the people that are surrounding you. That way, these people that are surrounding you are all like, they need to have that mindset as well. They can't have the mindset of like, oh, well, I'm not going to be a better coach. I'm not going to be a better athlete. This is just what I got, right? It's extremely crucial for the development of any individual in any area of their life to have, especially nowadays, a growth mindset, because the requirement of the growth mindset basically entails hard work pays off, and the delayed gratification of hard work. I invest these amount of hours into something and I will become better at it in the long run. And what you're saying about that, the requirement of becoming successful and good in art, as well as weightlifting, as well as other aspects of life and trial and error, we can also view it as an investment, right? We're investing our resources, we're investing our time, we're investing our energy and prioritizing that one thing to be successful at it, and to be successful as a business owner and as an athlete. That is your why, and now you're able to transfer that why for as an individual to the people that are surrounding you, which is truly something to admire, and I respect that a lot.
Appreciate you, man. Thanks.
Yeah. So let's talk about, we were kind of dabbling a little bit in your beginnings into weightlifting earlier, and I kind of shifted the direction of the conversation more into your leadership style and kind of what helped you become the leader that you are right now, which I really did want to understand and know more about, and I appreciate you going into that. But I kind of want to know more about, your beginnings into the weightlifting, how you fell into the sport. Tell me about your first competition. You did tell me you hit 100-kilo back squat on your first training when you were 16, 60 snatch, 60 clean, 60 bench. That was when you were 16. But what was your transition from 16 years old to now you're 28? What has that transition looked like as an athlete?
Yeah. So, when I was 16, that was my intro into football. And that's when I learned about lifting weights to, get stronger. And that's the first time that I thought of lifting weights for performance, to help get stronger and faster, more explosive on the football field. And that's what I geared everything towards. My goal is to become a starter, I wanted to play and, make an impact on my team. And that's what I was working towards. And then after I got done with high school, I went to college, and I at first I didn't think that I was going to play college football, but then I became a preferred walk on at the University of Kentucky after my freshman semester, or my first freshman semester, and I started playing football there in the SEC, which was kind of a crazy experience. A lot of those guys are freaks, but they approached training a lot different than what I was doing on my own. I was training really hard. I wanted to really push myself in the gym, and I felt like a lot of the stuff that we were doing in football in college was basically like prehab, like keeping people healthy, keeping people on the field, stuff like that, because you got a lot of really big, fast guys with really high speed collisions. Injuries were happening frequently. Um, you're playing the best of the best, so they didn't really want to beat you up in the weight room. But my love for lifting was still there. My love and passion for getting better, pushing myself, was still there. So when I stopped playing football, I was still training really hard. I wanted to push myself and get stronger just because I loved it. That's what I wanted to do all day. Like I said, that was like, if money didn't exist, that's what I would do all day, is just train and hang out in the gym. So my training partner at the time, that's right around CrossFit, when CrossFit started getting bigger. It was like in 2012 or so. So CrossFit was still kind of like new-ish, like it wasn't quite mainstream, but it was kind of starting to get out there. My training partner at the time, we were kind of dabbling with the Metcons just because they were like new and fun and like something different, like a unique challenge. And in that was weightlifting movements, like the clean and the snatch and whatnot. And I was like, oh, I remember the clean from football. I think the most that I ever cleaned in high school was like maybe 115 kilos, or maybe like 120 kilos with like no hook grip and no contact. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, well, if I want to, do better at these CrossFit workouts that we're going to be doing, I need to spend some time on these weightlifting movements to like really learn them and get better at them. So, of course, me, I'm in college training on my own. I don't have any coach or anyone. Basically, and YouTube was kind of in its infancy. Like it was in like the first like maybe like 5 or so years of its existence. So there wasn't a ton of weightlifting content out there. So there was like slow-mo videos of Kendrick Ferris. There was some videos of like the Olympics, Dmitry Klokov, Ilya Ilin, etc. Kind of like the bigger names. So I would just take a video of myself and take a video of Kendrick Ferris slow-mo, frame for frame, and just see what he's doing and what I'm doing in each part of the lift, and kind of make adjustments and learn through trial and error. Um, but I mean, I fell in love with weightlifting, and then I learned about weightlifting being in the Olympics, and I dreamt of how amazing it would be to go to the Olympics and be on that stage, and everyone have all eyes on you, and working so hard towards a goal. And that the Olympic dream for me really just kind of encapsulated everything that you know I wanted for my life, just because it's that thing that pushes you to be better. And it's the best of the best competing against each other. And I think at the time it was like maybe 2014, and I went to my first weightlifting coach ever, because I was just training on my own. And I think that I just did my first weightlifting competition, and I did like 110, 135, or 130 or something like that. And I went to my first ever weightlifting coach, which also happened to be a strength and conditioning coach for the University of Kentucky, but they had a weightlifting club. And I told him that, in 6 years, in 2020, my goal is to go to the Olympics. And he laughed in my face. And he's like, do you even know what you would need to be lifting in order to make that happen? And at the time, I was like, well, whatever Kendrick Ferris is lifting, because I was in his weight class and he's hitting those numbers and going to the Olympics. So I was like, whatever he's doing, that's what I'm going to have to do. So at the time, I didn't realize how much time was going to take to actually make it to that level from where I was. I was like, oh, 6 years is plenty of time. I'll just add 10 kilos to my snatch, 10 kilos to my clean and jerk every year for 6 years. And I thought at the time that was realistic. And then I was like, man, if I'm doing that, then I'll be totaling 360 in no time, and like, trying to make an Olympic spot. So, I just kept training on my own. I had no coach because obviously I didn't go to that guy. He laughed in my face. And that kind of fires me up when people doubt me. But I was training hard every day, and I was doing a lot of things that I tell people not to do now, like maxing out all the time. And, my technique was really rough and, caused me to, make a lot of progress and then get injured, make a lot of progress and then get injured. And that was kind of like a cycle that repeated itself. So I really had to learn through trial and error and kind of dial in my technique. And I knew that if I really wanted to get to that level, I was going to have to spend a lot of time working on those little details. So over time on my own, I think I got to the point where I was snatching like 130 and clean and jerking 170 at 94 kilo body weight. And, after a couple rough meets of, weight cuts and not doing as well as I wanted to, I realized, if I really want to get in these A sessions at nationals and, start trying to shoot for some medals, get into like some bigger numbers, like above 140 and above 180, I need to have someone with some experience behind me that has been there, done that, developed good athletes, knows how to kind of work through these times in a young developing athlete's career. And that's when I hired my coach, Leo Totten from East Coast Gold. He started working with me maybe in about 2017. I asked him to count for me at nationals in Chicago. By the way, my first meet was in just for people watching, my first meet ever was in 2014. It was the Miami Classic, because at the time I was interning coaching NFL, NBA, MLB athletes down in Miami, and I lived there for a little bit. This is while I was in college, and I did my first meet down there in 2014 in Miami, and then 2015 in senior nationals in Dallas. That was my first ever national meet. So I've been doing national meets for 6 years now, almost 7 in 2022. And I've been competing for an additional year on top of that. But the sport has come a long way since back then in 2014. But yeah, so I hired my coach, Leo Totten, and he took my total, or helped me take my total from 280 kilos, or 300 kilos, actually 300 kilos, to about 336 where it's at now. So in that time, I've made a lot of progress. Now I'm pushing for that 340 kilo total so I could qualify for an international meet and get a Team USA singlet, represent Team USA on the international stage. That's my main goal right now as an athlete. And the nice part of owning a gym is I'm able to be in the gym every day and still train and work towards those goals. And then me working towards those goals also inspires and kind of motivates, pushes the lifters in my gym. You know what I mean? Because when you're a coach, you want to earn the respect of the people around you. And the best way to do that is to do what you preach. The best way to do that is to push yourself. And, when your people see you pushing yourself in the gym, trying to hit certain numbers and go to meets and qualify for international teams and hit PRs, and they see those moments that you have big success, it pushes them to want to also do that and follow you in the battle. So that's your biggest credential right there as a coach, is been there, done that, and put yourself in that position that they're trying to be in and they're trying to go through. And that's the easiest way to gain accountability with someone in the sport of weightlifting, I would say, is also being strong and knowing how to train. And that's something that can't be faked, because the only way that you are able to get strong and hit those numbers is if you put in years of work and, developing your technique, going through the ups and downs, injuries, etc. It's the only way you get to that level is if you put yourself through that. And then that gives you a lot of experience that your lifters can rely on.
What do you say about people that are weightlifting coaches but have never reached a high level?
You have to define what high level means, because some would argue that I haven't reached a high level. You know what I mean? What does high level mean? High level can mean, being on a international team, going to an Olympics, going to a world championships, or high level to some people could be like going to senior nationals or going to finals. There's definitely different levels. To people that, haven't really lifted any significant amount of weight, or haven't really put their body through what they're trying to put other people's bodies through, I think that you need to do that first before you really dedicate yourself to coaching. If you're an athlete who is looking to get as strong as they can and looking to get the best performance they possibly can, and have someone who's got that experience that you can trust and rely on to help you through the ups and the downs, then you want someone who's been there and done that.
Yeah.
You want someone who's developed other good athletes. You want someone who's gotten results, not just for other people, but also for themselves. You want someone who has put their body through the same thing you're trying to do and has been successful. So to me, I feel like that is like number one as a coach. Like you see a lot of coaches who don't really have much time into weightlifting or much skin in the game trying to be coaches, and you're not going to get any buy-in. Like you're not going to get anyone to buy in to what you're doing. You have to show people that, you deserve the respect that they give you. And a lot of that is through your actions. How do you carry about your training? How do you care about your life? How do you handle problems? What kind of energy do you bring to the gym every day? What are the best moments in your weightlifting career that you can say, hey, I've been here and done this. You can trust what I'm telling you. You know what I mean? Like, trust me when I'm telling you to do XYZ, because that's what helps me get to here.
Yeah.
So I think that that's the most important thing for coaches is, in the Instagram influencer world, everyone just wants to be an influencer and whatnot, but no one wants to put the 10 plus years in to get strong where you're clean and jerking 190 kilos.
Yeah.
I've clean and jerked 190 kilos. I know what it's like to be on that platform and hold 190 kilos over my head, and then think about all the years of suck and ups and downs that went into that lift. And, my lifters, they know that when I tell them something that they're getting what I would do in that situation to help them get to whatever greatness they're trying to achieve. But also, everyone in the gym isn't trying to go to the Olympics. You got people who just do it because they love it, so you got to really kind of adjust how you approach people and how you coach people based on their goals.
Tell me about StrengthWorks. Tell me about your gym. Is it specifically Olympic weightlifting? Do you have powerlifting? Do you have bodybuilding? Do you have your average Joe guy that just wants to do your machines? I've never been there. I've seen a couple of videos, but the videos that I've seen so far are mainly of the weight room area. So what I've seen so far of the gym is you got a couple of squat racks, a couple of platforms. I haven't necessarily seen any machines or area outside of, the weightlifting area. So I don't know how big your gym is. I don't know what other areas you have for accessory work. I don't know if you have a turf. I don't know if you have stretching area. I don't know any of that. So kind of give me a rundown of your gym, if you want, kind of like the layout, and then talk to me about your clientele. I mean, you have 70 members on your gym plus, right? 70 plus is gym members.
Yeah.
They all come in with different whys as well.
Exactly.
So you're there to support them and their goals and kind of be there for them. So yeah, if you want to run me down through that real quick.
Yeah. Well,
you want to take?
Well, my gym StrengthWorks. We're here in St. Louis, and we've kind of over my time owning this gym, we've been in 3 different locations. One of those locations was with my original partner who helped me start out of a CrossFit gym, and he owned the CrossFit gym, and then we kind of built out of his gym weightlifting area where I first started, coaching clients and whatnot, and then I branched out on my own and opened a small gym, like 1,000 square feet, really tiny, really small. Like I'm pretty sure my basement right now that I'm in is bigger than my first gym. So we had 6 platforms in my first gym, and one of those platforms was for jerk blocks. So we really only had 5 platforms. So if you can imagine like 15 people being in a basement, all sharing 5 platforms, so like everyone's sharing bars and sharing platforms and whatnot, is like kind of crazy. But those were some really good times because everyone's really close and everyone's working together and whatnot. And then we moved out right 2 weeks before the lockdown started. I signed a lease to a 2,600 square foot space, which was essentially 3 times bigger than my previous gym. So really big. And now we have 11 platforms. We have a jerk block platform. We have all competition kilo plates. We have all competition barbells. We got dumbbells, kettlebells, pull-up bar, lat pull down, chest supported row machines, leg raise machines, and back extension machines, all that stuff as well. We got a turf. We have a strip of turf that goes down one side of the gym on the other side. And then the other half of the gym, we have like a ping pong table, all sorts of stuff. But yeah, I mean, the gym, I've built out all the gyms on my own with the help of members and stuff that wanted to donate their time to help me, and purchased all the equipment on my own by using my graphic design skills that I developed myself through watching like YouTube and trial and error. I was able to market my skills and make money and pay for all of my equipment out of pocket. So no debt, open the gym, all cash investment. And we started small. We started with what we needed. We started with what the essentials. And then as we grew, as we went, purchased more as we went. And I can get more into the specifics of business if you want to later. But yeah, now we have over 70 members. We just went over 70 members. So this is kind of a new benchmark for me, which is really exciting because, as a small gym, we started with 0 members. And, when I opened my own place and branched out from my partner, I was worried that, I was like, what if I only have like 10 people that want to like come with me and train with me? Am I going to be able to afford rent? Am I going to be able to ever pay back my investment, or am I going to fail? Am I going to go fall flat on my ass and no one's going to want to train with me? You know what I mean? So you always wonder those things. And then am I going to be stuck with this lease? So it's definitely scary. But luckily, we were able to get up to like 20 or 25 members relatively quickly. So I was able to pay all my expenses and then eventually get back my initial investment and move to a bigger place, put in more money, put in a bigger investment. And yeah, it's been really nice. I'll tell you this, if I would have opened the gym and only lived off of gym money and not had like a second income, like through graphic design and pins, I would have probably had to get a loan and live off my gym. I probably would have failed. So having that second income, that second side hustle where I'm staying up every night till like 3, 4, 5 a.m. and I'm working for myself and making money, that has been able to feed me. That's been able to feed my family and also, feed the gym. And then all the money that the gym makes, I let that money just kind of sit and stack up over time. And then that way the business is growing. But I use my graphic design skills to pay for everything else. Travel that I want to go on, things I want to buy, food, rent, etc. All that's getting paid for by my side hustle skills. And then the gym, I work for free and I'm the only coach and owner. So no one else works there. I just let the gym money just stack up and I use it to pay like utilities and, rent for the space for gym. And, if I need to buy equipment and whatnot. So yeah, I've done it that way and it's been really successful for me because I've been able to build up my personal money and my gym money, which is really important. And now I have money that I'm able to, if I need to make moves or do whatever, I have money to do that with. So it gives you financial freedom. So yeah, that strength works in a nutshell. I can get more into specifics with, kind of how I got to that point, like my very beginning and how we built up to this if you want. But yeah, that's kind of how it all started.
Yeah. Well, one of the questions in my multi-layered question was, do you have areas designated for people other than Olympic weightlifters?
Oh, yeah, that's right. My apologies. Yes. Well, we do actually we specialize in Olympic weightlifting. We're a USA Weightlifting Club. Strength Works, it's actually Team Strength Works for USA Weightlifting. And that's really what we specialize in. We have all weightlifting equipment. But I mean, if people come to me and they're like, hey, I want to just get stronger, or I want my son to get stronger for football, or I have this wrestler that, wants to get stronger, or, hey, I'm out of shape. Can you personally train me? Or, I have this 8-year-old who I want them to learn how to take care of their bodies and get stronger, build their confidence. I take all those people. So we do have people that are like weightlifters, but at the end of the day, in terms of business, if you only say, hey, I'm only going to deal with weightlifters who want to compete in weightlifting, you're dealing with such a small population of people in your city. You know what I mean? So if you really want to be able to appeal to a bigger amount of people, a bigger population, then you kind of have to open up your services and what your scope of who you think you're going to work with is. The amount of people that I have that are like A-session contenders at nationals, contenders for medals, and we just had a few national champions at nationals. my first ever national champions that I've coached. That the people that do that at my gym is probably less than 10, you know. So everyone else, they're doing it because they love it. They still love competing. They just love weightlifting with their friends. It's really fun. They love getting stronger. They love doing the basic movements. I have people that are 8 years old all the way up to like 60. So I pretty much welcome anyone in if they want to come in and get stronger with us, whether it's through Olympic weightlifting or through just, your general strength movements and, bodybuilding accessories, whatever. I welcome all of them. Just because as a gym, why would you turn away business? If someone wants to come to your gym, I'm like, yeah, that'd be great. Come work out with us.
So
Doesn't
when
matter what your
someone
goals
walks
are.
in and they're, sorry to interrupt,
No,
but
no problem.
when someone comes in and they have a goal other than being an Olympic weightlifter, like you said, they want to get strong for football,
Uh-huh.
whatever reason it may be, do you write them an individualized programming?
So
Like
that's a great question.
for a month? Do you have a certain application that you submit their training for, or do they
Mhm.
come in, to the gym? You're like, all right, this is what we're gonna do today. What is
Yeah.
your style of coaching, and
So
how do you go about providing these people their workouts?
that's a great question. So everything in my gym is entirely individualized. Our model, I'm going to be honest, is a lot different than most gyms. So most CrossFit gyms or weightlifting gyms that you go to, for example, they might say, all right, class is at 4 o'clock. And then you might have everyone come at 4 o'clock. You know what I mean? You might have like 8 people or 10 people all at the front of the class at the whiteboard at 4 o'clock. But my problem with that kind of CrossFit model is that, what happens if you have a 10-year-old, a 50-year-old, you got a high school football player, you have a Olympic weightlifter trying to compete at nationals, and you got a soccer mom. You know what I'm saying? You can't give all those people the same workout because their goals are all completely different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
So me, I always thought when I opened a gym, what would I want if I was an athlete? So what I would want is I would want an individualized program made for my goals, made for what I'm trying to get better at,
Mhm.
what I'm good at, what I'm not good at, injuries, how many days a week I want to come to the gym, that fits my schedule, goals that I may have, etc. All those things are taken into account. And I would want to be able to kind of come in whenever time I want, whatever is best for me. And that's what we do. We have an open schedule. I get to the gym generally around 12, and then I'm there until like 8, and people can come in whatever time they want. And then everyone in the gym, they have binders, so they have a binder with their name on it. And then I write out a program through Excel. I meet with them. I'm like, hey, what are your goals? What are you looking to get out of your training? Are you brand new? Are you experienced? How many days a week are you training? And then I write them up a program, except for if they're new. Like if they're new, the first week or two is kind of like us just going over some basic movements and learning like how to squat, how to deadlift. If they're trying to do weightlifting, can you do an overhead squat? Teaching you how to snatch, teaching you how to clean, teaching you how to jerk. And then once they have a grasp of all those movements, then I write them out a program, put it in a binder. Someone will come in the gym, they'll grab their binder, their program will be right there. They'll see what they have for the day, and then they go through the program. I might have, anywhere from 5 to 15 people in the gym at once. My job as a coach, I'm just there. And then I'm kind of coaching everyone as they're going. So like, you might have, like I said, all these different people in the gym at the same time. And then I'm just kind of there coaching everyone as they need. And then people that are newer, people that are less experienced, they get more attention. People that are more experienced and whatnot, they're kind of going through their program on their own, but I'm there as they need it. Hey, Zach, we watch this video, or they're about to go for a big lift. Everyone stop what they're doing and let's like watch and cheer. You know what I mean? Videoing, etc. But yeah, that's kind of my model. It's open. You can come whatever time you want, and you come in, you get a program individualized for you. And I try to make the prices cheap so that everyone can afford it. So my model is not something that everyone can do, but it's something that works for me, something that gives me flexibility, something that the people like, and it's something that I personally enjoy at the gym.
Who do you model the style of coaching from?
Honestly, No one. I mean, I don't really think anyone really models their gym the way that I do. I basically just try to do whatever I can to make it convenient for everyone else. I'm just at the gym all day, and then when you're there, you need me, I'm there coaching you and cheering for you, coaching you, helping you, talking to you. Um, and that's what I'm doing. In terms of like my style of coaching, I take influence from like my coach Leo Totten, other good coaches that you see all over the US. Your coach Dave Spitz, he's a good coach as well. You as you're in weightlifting for a long period of time, you see coaches in the back, you see coaches at competitions, you watch videos, you go to other people's gyms, you travel and you see all these places and you take kind of influence from all sorts of different people that you're like, oh, I like how he did that. Like for example, CJ Cummings coach, I've competed, not me, but like my lifters have competed against his lifters, most notably at this last nationals. One of my lifters, his name is Zach Hollenbeck. He actually just qualified as an alternate for Youth Worlds in Saudi Arabia. And he was my second lifter ever to win nationals. And he was competing against CJ Cummings coach's lifters. Coach Ray is one of his lifters. I don't remember his name, but my guy was competing against his guy, and it came down to the very last lift. My guy clean and jerked 1 more kilo than him for the win, for the national championship win. And I take a lot of stuff like I saw from Coach Ray. How does he handle his lifters in the back? What are things that he's saying? What are things that he's doing? How is he kind of handling his lifter? How is he talking to him? What are cues that he's saying? Over years and years of doing this, you just kind of get to the point where you kind of draw inspiration for all these really great coaches and lifters. And I take all that stuff, put it in my toolbox. And then in terms of my model, it's just a lot of trial and error from like gyms that I was at in the past. Like I said to you before this, right when I got out of college, I basically had no money, had no clients. I moved here with my girlfriend at the time, now my wife, and we had nothing. We had rent and we had no jobs. She had no job. I had no job. I was like, well, I better go to a gym and get a job, I guess. So I was going around to all these different gyms, and I was basically calling any gym that I could that would allow me to coach weightlifting. And I found one that hired me. They let me coach there. I coached there for like a year, learned a lot from that place. And then I went to another place where I was coaching weightlifting, learned a lot about how not to run a gym. Um, the business owner, I'm gonna be honest with you, he had a lot of issues with his business and learned a lot about how not to run a gym, how not to handle members. And then I went to another place where I met my partner at the time. Um, and I was there for a few years, and we opened what was Pathway Performance, but what turned into StrengthWorks now. And I learned a lot from that experience as well, met a lot of good people, and then decided we were going to split off. I was going to do my own thing. And then here we are. So I just kind of take inspiration from a lot of things.
Does your wife, besides inspiring you towards, being a good wife and taking care of your family, does she help you in any way with your either side hustle or business running?
I mean, shit, yeah, she does. I mean,
How?
wouldn't
What
be
does she do?
here wouldn't be here without her, I mean, she helps pay the bills. She helps take care of her daughter. She cooks dinner when I come home from the gym late at night. She has dinner ready for me. She
I mean,
helps take care of the house.
that's that's that's
You
that's what I mean about being a wife and being a good mom. I mean, what you're saying entails being a good wife and being a good mom. I mean more like in the business side. Does
Oh,
she
does she do
provide
anything in the
any
business?
help in the business side? Does she
No,
help you run your side hustle or your gym? Like, is she there in the
not a lick.
mornings and you're in the afternoons? Nothing like that.
Not a lick.
Okay.
The one thing I love about StrengthWorks is, through my partnerships in the past that I've been a part of, I've been of quite a few partnerships in the past. I learned that, there's some beauty in just doing your own thing and being your own boss, calling all the shots, doing what you want to do, handling things how you want to handle, spending money on things that you want to spend money on, not having to ask permission to do things, not arguing or getting in fights when you don't agree. You know what I mean? That stuff really can be toxic, and that stuff can really hurt a business, and it can make your members uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And when I opened Strength Works, I wanted to just do my own thing.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to deal with other coaches. I didn't, because frankly, I'll be honest, I got trust issues. It's hard to find other coaches that want the same thing as you, have the same vision as you, have a similar experience. They're able to get buy-in because they've been there, done that. They have the right intentions, they have the availability, they agree with how much they're going to get paid. It's hard to find people like that you can trust. So it's easier for me to just do it myself, and it's a lot less stressful that way. It's a lot it's just a lot easier that way for me, that I learned. So, and I've never really been a good employee. Like, it goes back to kind of my history with my middle school and high school days. I've never really been good with taking orders. I'm gonna be honest with you. I just kind of like to do my own thing. So me working for myself is something that I really enjoy. And
Hey,
my
man,
wife,
and I respect that. Like it wasn't to try and throw any shade
no,
at
no, 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 no.
like, hey, if you
I,
run your business and that's
oh
how it
yeah,
is, then
yeah,
hey, that's
yeah. I
how it
mean, my
is, man.
wife, she does her own job. My wife has her
Oh,
own
okay.
job, and she does her own thing. She doesn't know a lick about weight. I mean, she knows weightlifting from just watching my competitions. So, like, she travels with me to competitions, and she watches, and she knows like the rules of weightlifting.
Yeah.
Oh, she runs our weightlifting meets sometimes.
Okay.
Like, she runs the table, and she's the announcer. So she knows how to like run the software and knows how to be the announcer and knows the rule of weightlifting, the rules. So she does that. And she, like, she'll come to the gym and say hi, and, bring my daughter and whatnot. But other than that, she doesn't really have a hand in any of the business stuff. And frankly, I think that that's a good thing, because
Yeah.
there are definitely a lot of people who can have, like, relationships and run a business together. But there's
Mhm.
also a lot of times that business can kind of come in between relationships.
Yeah.
And not saying that would happen to me and my wife, but I think sometimes it's nice to be able to separate business
Mhm.
and personal life, and be able to just come home and leave everything else out of the home. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
For sure. For sure.
But that's kind of nice. I just like to be able to do it myself.
So you open up the gym at 12, basically 12 to 8 daily.
Yeah. And
Train
people
in
can
the
come in the
morning from
morning
8
or
to
at night
12.
if they want to. What'd you say?
You train in the morning from 8 to 12. Is that like your schedule to kind of get your workout in, and then you coach the rest of the day?
So I typically train sometime in the afternoon. Um, Sometimes my training starts anywhere between like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Sometimes it starts around like 5 or 6. It just depends on how big of a workout I got, who's at the gym. Is there a lot of people there? Is there not? Do I have a lot of clients coming in the evening? Do I feel like shit in the morning and I feel like I'd lift better in the evening? I mean, this just kind of changes day to day. I train 5 days a week, um, but I generally train sometime in the afternoon, 2 or 3, or I train in the evening at like 5 or 6,
Yeah.
typically. And then my training generally lasts for around 2 hours, I would say, on average. Um, So I train 5 days a week. I typically go like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then rest Thursday, and then Friday, Saturday, and then rest Sunday. Ideally, there are times that I just feel like trash. Like yesterday, I had a really big deadlift session, and I was feeling smoked today, so I rested. Um, so I mean, it just kind of changes throughout the week based on my schedule, but I consistently get the work in though.
For sure. So do you enjoy being able to train with your athletes too?
I
Or you
do.
try to do
But
your own thing?
there's definitely some coaches that disagree with training with your athletes. And I'll be honest with you, I don't really know why, because I feel like that's one of the best ways to get buy-in from athletes is to lift with them and show them what you're doing. And also, I feel like they learn a lot from training with good athletes. They learn a lot from how does he approach his warm-ups? How does he approach his lifts? Oh, I need to be doing my snatch and make it look like that. You know what I mean? And then also it's just fun. It builds that camaraderie. It builds the relationship. You know, I do that mainly with people who are more experienced. Like, if
Mhm.
you're brand new and I got a bunch of brand new people in the gym, I'm not going to be training. You know what I mean? I'm working. But if I got a couple people in there that know what they're doing, they're experienced and experienced weightlifters, and they can handle themselves, I'll train with them. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's fun, because also it's just more fun to not train alone.
Sure.
So yeah, some of those guys, they become training buddies, training partners. Um, so yeah, but there are coaches that have differing opinions on that for sure. So depending on who you ask, you'll get a different answer.
Okay. I personally I've trained maybe with a client once or twice, and it wasn't like intentional. It was more like, hey, I have these exercises that I want programmed for you, and I want you to do them. You've never done them, so let me do them with you so you can see the movement and how I want it to be. And we'll just do them together. We'll go through the warm up. You'll do it. You'll do the exercise. I'll coach you, and then I'll do my sets since I have to do it. So I want you to see more of the movement, and I'll break it down. And it was more of it was still a training session, but it was a breakdown type of training session. Um,
I think as a coach, though, you got to be good at multitasking. Like, for example, there's times that I train and there's people in my gym. And obviously, I'm the only coach and owner of my gym. So if there's people there, these people are clients. But I mean, you got to be good at multitasking. If I'm in training and there's other people there, I can't just be entrenched and focused in my own zone and not talking to anyone. If you see something that needs to be coached, or if someone's going for a lift, you still need to kind of have that coach's hat on too, where you're like helping people and giving feedback, cheering, all that stuff. So I mean, the only way to avoid that is training alone, like at night, which I did the other night. I trained with Tom Suma at we got done at 9:30 at night. So trained after everyone was done. But because we were really busy that day. So there's no way I could train when we were that busy. But yeah, so it just depends on who's coming in and how experienced they are, how long they've been with me, and how well they know the system and they can handle themselves.
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Um, we've gone a lot about so far. We've talked about your why. We've talked about your gym structure, kind of like your goals. Anything you would like to talk about? Any stories, any anecdotes or experiences that you would like to talk about?
I'll say this. I was really surprised when you messaged me and asked me to um, be interviewed by you. And then the nice things you had to say about me, I was like, wow, I can't believe people really think that about me, because to me, I'm just like a guy, that's trying to just figure it out, take it a day at a time. You know what I mean? I think that
Well,
there's definitely
to make what I said was behind camera, so I'll say it in camera again, just so that people know what I even said. Um, you know, I mentioned the reason why I wanted an interview was because you in some way represent the model of what a man should in some way aspire to be. You take care of your family, you're married, you got a kid, you're a business owner, you're an athlete, you care about the people surrounding you, you try to be a positive influence on people's lives, and you're making it work despite all the difficulties that are presenting themselves on our modern society. And I think that everything that we've talked about so far is in some way inspirational. Is inspirational for people that don't have the right mindset, that don't have motivation, so that they can also understand that they can achieve great things through hard work and determination. And not that saying because you did it they can do it, because that would be a fallacy. But because you worked hard, stayed up late nights, and focused entirely on your goals, then that means that other people can also have that mindset and achieve whatever goals they can do through hard work and determination. I don't believe that everyone is destined for a certain thing. I think that you create your own path as you go in life.
I agree.
You're not destined for anything. You wake up every day and you create your destiny. You create what you want out of life every single day,
100%.
So
Happiness is a mindset, man. People are in
yeah, for sure,
control
for
of
sure.
their life. I mean, if you ask yourself, am I happy right now with where I'm at in life? And your answer is no. The next thing you need to ask, okay, what am I going to do to fix it?
Hmm.
What am I going to do to get to somewhere I do want to be? What am I going to do now to, build financial freedom, to be
Hmm.
able to go where I want when I want, to be able to buy what I want when I want, to be able to support your family and not live paycheck to paycheck?
Yeah.
What are you going to do to put yourself in position to do that? And for me, I know it sounds cliche, but I just did what I loved. I loved being in the gym. I loved helping people. So over time, I found out what's the best way that I can do that and also monetize it so that I can make it a career. And then I had to fund it, and I wanted a creative outlet. So I taught myself a skill, and then I learned how to market my skill. And then I
Tell
learned
me
how
about that
to,
skill. Lastly, we've kind of mentioned it multiple times throughout the conversation, and how your skills and your hard work into understanding graphic designs and all that good stuff basically went from a side hustle to one of your main sources of income currently in your life.
Mhm.
Is that side hustle, source of income, is it a business? Do you have a business called Zach Huse Designs, or is it something that people that know you reach out to you? How
Yeah.
do you monetize that? How do you go
So
to
it,
market your services? Where can people contact you? Maybe me or someone that's looking at this video right now needs some help, creating some content for their own website.
yeah.
What
Well,
what
that's a
what
great question. Actually, Phil Andrews just DM'd me and asked me to make him some art for his wedding. So, I mean, it's really cool. But yes, that's a great question. How does one create a side hustle and monetize a skill? And for me, it all started, as you can see from my background, I'm a huge nerd collector. I love collecting all sorts of
you
things.
want to now that you mentioned your nerdness, I also call him a nerd every time I call him over the
Yeah.
phone or text him, just because it's funny, because I know he's not a nerd, but he's low
Yeah.
key is. Show us your room. Just real quick, just like don't go into detail on everything because it's really a lot, but just kind of just show your camera around a little bit. Show us
Okay.
the nerdness.
I got some Disney stuff all up in here, all down here. I got some
Do you
shelf.
have every wall divided by something? So this is the Disney wall, this is the Pokemon wall, this is the game.
Yeah, I got all sorts of stuff. Star Wars, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Disney. We got like some more valuables and stuff like
Pokemon.
that.
I can
There's
see the Pokemon.
Pokemon. There's like a glass case with like a bunch of stuff in it. And then we got like video games, like old vintage video game systems.
Damn.
We have like sports memorabilia. Like that's a Ray Lewis Super Bowl game issued helmet. We have like other stuff over here. We got hats, like signed hats and whatnot, other stuff, promo displays and stuff, stuff from my childhood, stuff that's nostalgic to me, magazines, VHS movies, video games, sneakers. I got upstairs, I got a sneaker collection,
What type of
pins.
sneakers?
Uh,
Nikes?
I really, yeah,
Jordans?
I really love Nikes, like Nike SB, Jordans, Air Maxes, stuff like that. That's what I really love. But, a few years ago when it was like 2015, I just got out of college. I had nothing, no money, no anything to my name. Um, and me and my wife, we moved here to St. Louis. And one time, my family and I and my wife, we went to Disney for a vacation for 4 days. And when I went to Disney, I found out about pin trading. And for those of you who don't know, who have never been to Disney, pin trading is basically like you wear a lanyard and they have like these little pins. And you can go around and you can trade with people and pins. And I'm a social guy, so it was kind of right up my alley. And it was also something like that kind of itched my collector gene, where I was like, ooh, I could trade for this. I really like this pin. I want this one for my collection, etc. That's my favorite character, whatever. And in Disney, cast members, they all have pins, they all have pin lanyards, and they will trade with you. They cannot say no. So if you see a pin that they have that you want to trade for, they cannot say no. So it was just a cool, fun thing that I had from Disney that I really enjoyed, trading pins. And then when I got home from Disney, I learned like about these Facebook groups that have like 40,000 people in them, 50,000 people in them, whatever. And you can like see all these crazy different pins that are out there. And you're like, oh my gosh, it's like insane the amount of shit that's out there that you have no idea. And some of it's valuable, some of it's, got some monetary value to it that's sought after. Um, so I started purchasing pins online, buying pins, trading for pins, and building a collection, amassing a giant collection of all these pins on the wall like crazy. And then I got to a point where I started seeing people making their own pins and like selling them, and the pre-sales would sell it like that. Like if it was a design that was like sought after, people would buy it so fast. And I was like, wow, these people make this design and then they sell, 100 pins. They were like $50 each. You do the math. And I'm like, there's no way that it costs that much to make. So they're making bank. So I was like, all right, well, I kind of wanted a creative outlet at the time. Like, so I wanted to maybe like do something creative because I felt like I was missing that in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I also really like pins and collecting. And so I was like, man, maybe I should try and learn how to make pins because then I could sell them to people and make money. And then also I could have pins made for my collection because people will buy the pins and then those pins will then be made and then I'll have them for my collection and I'll make money. So I was basically just making pins that I wanted for my own collection, but people were buying them and funding them. You know what I mean? So then it turned into a whole thing where I was making all of these pins, these giant pins, and people really loved them. I made a Facebook group of my first design and I put it out there in a big group and I was like, hey, I'm going to make this pin. Is anyone interested in buying it or pre-purchasing it before it's made? And then I'll take that money and fund it to like be made. And then I'll take it and send it to you. And I had like maybe 25 people in my group that wanted to buy that pin. So I made a Facebook group, right? And then
Have the pin, the first ever pin that you made in your house still to
oh
show?
yeah. Oh yeah, sure. Here it is. Zach's Pin Adventure. This is the first pin that I ever made.
That's a fat pin, bro.
Yeah, this is the
What's
first
the
pin that
back
I.
of it? Let me see the back of it.
Well, the back of it, I'd have to take it off, but
No, no, no,
basically,
that's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
yeah, basically it's just like my
I just want to see
signature.
like how many things. There's 4 thingies on it. So like,
Yeah,
what is
basically
that
you
called?
wear this. So you would wear this and you'd put it like on a cork board and like display it in your house or frame it or whatever. And people like they make pins of their favorite characters, and then you know that's what they collect their favorite characters. And then when they look at it, it makes them nostalgic and it makes them think of their favorite movies. You know what I mean? So this was like 4 years ago. So I was like very new to pins, and my design skills honestly were trash.
Yeah,
So this is like where I first started.
yeah.
But basically,
Is that's the guy from Up, right? From the movie
yeah,
Up from Pixar.
yeah, that's Carl from Up. But
What's behind him? Is like a plane? Is it like the from when he was a pilot at the beginning of the movie?
so in this design, it's Carl on Kevin running away from all the dogs that are chasing him, like
Okay,
Alpha and
okay.
whatnot. And then there's also like the planes and everything, like chasing them in the jungle.
Mm.
So that was my first ever pin design that I ever made. I've come a long way since then. I've learned a lot. My designs have improved a lot. But I mean, basically, I started in a group with 25 people. They paid to have the pin made. I think they paid like maybe $50 each. I took that money, I had the pin made, and then I kept the rest of the profit. And I sent out the pins. People liked the quality, they liked what I made, and then I kept making designs. And then over time, I was able, with each design, I was able to make profit off of each pin. I would take that profit, save it, and pay for my bills, and then I would save that money and I would take that money and open my gym. So I bought equipment, I'd hide it in my garage. My garage got to the point where it was like full from ceiling to the floor, like just full of shit. So I just over time just saved money and bought my own gym, bought my own equipment and all of that. But I mean, without pins, I wouldn't have a gym. I wouldn't have anything. Pins really changed my life. Collecting changed my life. Disney changed my life, honestly. graphic design changed my life. Teaching
So
myself
your
that
graphic
skill.
design skills, just to be
Yeah.
clear, your graphic design skills, you use them specifically to design these pins that you
Hmm.
started selling out, and then the money that you made from creating pins is
Hmm.
what you use to basically funnel that money back into your business and your family and your
Well, I
house.
did. Yeah, I used
So
it. I
it's the
used it.
pins. It's not
Yeah.
like the graphic
Yeah.
designing that the skills that you've developed were specifically towards that.
Yes, exactly. And then I took that money to open my gym. My gym doesn't need money from pins anymore. It's its own thing that is making money every month,
Mhm.
and it's stacking money every month. So it's self-sufficient now.
Yeah.
But at first, pins is hold on one second, sorry. Hey babe, I'm on interview. Can I call you back? All right, you still there? How do I get
Yeah.
back? I don't
I don't
know.
know. It doesn't seem like you left.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, sorry about that. My daughter was crying upstairs. But anyways, yeah, I mean, pins really changed everything for me. It gave me financial freedom. It gave me an opportunity to make money for myself and kind of invest into myself and open my own business. And I just kind of little by little have grown. My group went from my Facebook group where I do my sales. It went from 25 people. Now it's over 1,500 people. And my Instagram went from 0 followers to now almost 4,000 followers.
You
So
have an Instagram for
I
pins?
do. I do. It's called Zach's Pin Adventure. I have a private Facebook group, and I have an Instagram where I post my art, my pins, and all that, and then people can purchase it. And I've developed quite a following. I just had a release this past weekend where I sold. I had a pin sale, and I sold over 60 pins, and I sold it in 5 seconds. So within 5 seconds, I sold out. So it's just a lot of money coming into your account all at once for a design that people want. You know what I mean? So then you have to get it produced, in a factory, and you have to quality inspect it, ship it, package it, etc., and make sure that it's high quality so that people feel like they got a good investment. Um, but I mean, that's what I do. And then I just have done that for years now. So that is how I pay for everything, and that's given me my financial freedom.
How many designs have you created so far? Do you remember? Do you have an idea?
Um, it's probably over 100 at this point.
Over 100 pen designs over a course of how many years?
Well, probably started in like 2018, so maybe like 3 or 4 years now.
Wow. So in 3 years, 100 pins. So do you basically do like one or two a month?
That's a great question. Some of the pin designs that I make are smaller and they're easier to crank out, within a week or two's time. And then some of the designs are big and they're like big jumbos. They like take a lot of detail and there's a lot of stuff going on in them, so they take longer to make. The one that I told you that I just sold this past weekend is actually the biggest pin ever made. It is 12 inches by 10 inches. It has 8 molds. It has 120 characters from 55 movies. And that pin took me 6 months to design, and it took a year and a half to make. So it took 2 years to be complete. And I just sold all of the extras that I had. Each one sold for between $300 and $400
$300 and $400,
each.
and you sold 60.
Over. There is over 100 total, but on Sunday I sold over 60. Yes.
I'm in the wrong business. I need to
Telling you, man.
start. I need to start doing some pins, my dude, my guy, my
I know,
man.
man. I'm telling you, you definitely. It's really simple. I always tell people this on how to make money. You find a skill that is desirable, or something that not everyone can do. Then you find a market for it. So for me, it was collectors. It was people who collected Disney, people who loved those characters, and I did as well. I was a collector. So that's the market that I was appealing to. And then I found a way to monetize my skills. So I found a way to, make designs, have them made for X amount, and then sell them for X amount so that I can make profit while also, funding my collection and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And then once you do that, I made a Facebook group. So I made a Facebook group where everyone could be in one place and I could market my stuff, my designs to everyone all at once so that they could buy it. So then once I do that, then it's just a matter of executing. It's just a matter of taking the design from design phase, selling it, and then having it made. And then once it's in, making sure that it's good quality and shipping it to people. And then just rinse, wash, repeat. Do that over and over and over again. And if you're disciplined and you do that over and over and over again, you'll be successful, you'll build a good reputation, and people will want to purchase from you and work with you. So that's really all it is. But it's not just with pins. You could do that with clothes. You could do that with sneaker customizing. You could do that with, t-shirts. You could do that with making quilts. You could do that with, painting. You could do that with anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean,
So
once you're good and
it's
talented
really
at
like,
something, you can monetize it.
that's what I'm saying.
I
It's the
see
same
where
thing
you're
with
coming from.
coaching. It's the same thing with coaching, like the same thing. So that's why I'm saying, like, when I told you about drawing, the same skills that you learn drawing and being great in one thing, it's the same thing for weightlifting, learning how to snatch or do anything. It's the same thing no matter what you want to sell, just being a good person, knowing how to run a business, knowing how to handle money, knowing how to make decisions, following through, executing, staying consistent and positive. Those are things that no matter what you do, those are things that are going to help you be successful. So really, once you know how to do that, you know how to be a good coach, you know how to be a good gym owner. Obviously, pin stuff is online, but being a gym owner, is a brick and mortar. So you got to pay rent, you got to have build out, you got to have in place business and whatnot. So it's a little different, but the principles are the same. Just treat people well and execute on what you say you're going to execute on, deliver the product that they want, and do it at a high level, and people will want to support you. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So those are lessons that you can learn for whatever job you're in, whatever market you're in. And that just happens to be something that I was passionate about. I was a passionate collector. So I learned how to monetize that skill. I gave myself a creative outlet. And then I learned how to monetize my love for weightlifting and my love for coaching through the gym. And then those trial and errors that I went through, those served as lessons to help others, and lessons to teach me what not to do. And that's really all it is. Rinse, wash, repeat, and then you'll get to a point where you're happy. You have financial freedom, and that was my goal all the time. I always tell people that my goal is not to have the biggest, baddest gym, or to have the most members, or to have whatever. My goal is to just have financial freedom, be able to do what I want when I want, be happy, have low stress, be around cool people that I enjoy being around. Um, those are the things that really matter to me. And I feel like I'm successful now. Some people think success is like a point that you get to, but it's like, I feel like just living your dream every day and doing what you love every day, that's success. So if you can say that you're doing that, that's your success. You know what I mean?
No.
So that's what I tell people is I'm a success already. And I feel like if you're doing what you love and you're not living paycheck to paycheck and you're in a good place, you're a success. That's
All
what
right,
I think.
so let's finish the interview with one last, I guess, piece of advice for someone.
Gosh, man, I really,
For some, no, it's a very specific piece of advice, though. So you're mentioning people, or you're mentioning the idea, right? You're talking about this idea, this reality that when you work towards your goals and towards the things that are priorities for you, um, you become successful in that area and exploring these ideas. For the people that are out there in their house right now that are suffering the consequences of COVID to make them somewhat of a lazy individual, they're now sitting in their home, collecting paycheck to paycheck. Soon, assistances from the government are going to be kind of put on hold, I believe, soon. So, they're going to have to go out there. They're going to have to explore their options. What do you feel can help these people that basically haven't figured out a niche, haven't figured out something that they're passionate about, what do you recommend them to do to achieve that?
Think to yourself, what would you do if money didn't exist? If money didn't exist, if you didn't have to pay bills, if you didn't have to worry about working a job to pay your bills, what would you do with your time? What would you do to make yourself happy? And
And
then
that's it.
you gotta think, what would that be? And then
For you, it was fitness and art.
for
And
me, it was fitness and art. And I found a way to monetize that.
mhm,
And I found a way to do it at a high level. And it's the same thing. You just have to ask yourself, what is something that gives you fulfillment in life? Something that you feel like, you're able to look at your why, like why you do what you do, and you're able to apply that to what you're doing every day. It gives you a sense of purpose. It gives you a mission. It gives you something that you're trying to accomplish every day, something that keeps you going when you're in your ups and when you're in your downs. When you're in the shit and when you're getting the shit kicked out of you,
yeah,
or when things are great, what's going to keep you going? And what keeps you going is things that you love, things that you're passionate about, people you love, people you're passionate about. And you got to ask yourself, if money and Instagram and marketing and social media and all that shit didn't exist, what would be left? What would you do? And what are things that you're truly happy doing? What are things that truly make you want to find the greatness within yourself? And that's my why, finding the greatness within others. So you answer that question, and then you do the steps. Like I said, you develop a skill that not everybody can do. And then you find a way or a market for that skill. And then
yeah.
you find a way to monetize it, and then you execute on it. You do that, you'll be happy and successful.
Amen to that.
And
Thank you for
financial
your
freedom.
time. Financial freedom. That is definitely one of the biggest, most important things that an individual can develop, especially now with everybody living off of the government and the stimulus checks and this and that, right? And
I'm so proud to
so
say that
many,
I
so
opened the
many
gym
youth,
with no loans or no
yeah,
anything.
so
Like,
many,
that makes me so proud to say. So it's like I feel like anyone can do that. But you got to have a little bit of hustle. You got to have a little ambition.
yeah.
You got to go out and get it, and you got to be up late. Last night I was up till 5 a.m.
Mhm.
I mean, some people, they were like, "Why don't you go to the gym early in the morning?" And the answer is because, frankly, my time is better spent doing what I'm doing at home at night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you just got to find what you're passionate about, and then you got to build your life around it. And that's why I want to work for myself. Just build my life around what I love.
Thank you so much, Zach. Good luck to you in your endeavors to, you know, continue your training and making an international team.
Thanks, bro.
Um, best of wishes to Strength Works and to your athletes competing at the AO finals, as well as yourself.
Thanks, man. I want to be like you one day. Be on that international team. I need to give me that Team USA singlet, boy.
You said it yourself. You already know. You already know what you got to do. So make it happen. Make it happen. Come down to Cal Strength, train with me and the boys sometime.
Hey, I already told you, man. I'd love to go out there. I mean, I got
Bring
plenty of
down your squad. Bring down your best lifter.
You know what's funny? Tom Suma,
Yes, sir. I don't know him, but I have heard of
the
him.
legend of Tom Suma. Well, he actually trains in my gym. We're training partners, and me and him have been talking for months now about wanting to fly out to Cal Strength and hang out, like leading up to the finals or something like that.
Yeah.
And we did that. We went to Indy to hang out with my buddy Trevor Kim. He's one of my close friends, my training partner for like 4 years. He moved to Indianapolis, so we went out there. But we want to like make a trip out to Cali, to Cal Strength. We want to make a trip out to Hybrid, train with Medina. He's a friend of mine also. We want to make a trip to a couple different places to train, because it's like life is short, man. Why not go places you want to go? Hang out, people experience other places, and life's too short to not do that stuff.
Absolutely.
And that's why we went to Disney last weekend with my 1-year-old daughter.
Oh, I thought you went with Tom Suma to Disneyland too.
Hey,
You're already talking about going Tom
Suma, yeah.
Why not take him at Disneyland?
He would hate it at Disneyland. But
Hey man, you and Tom are more than welcome to come down to Cal Strength and train with me and Nathan and all the other gang, the girls.
Yeah, I've
And
been wanting to train with
whoever's
Nathan.
there,
When he's in
we
Kansas.
got a really nice group of people so far. And if you and Tom, or if you want to come with other athletes as well and add to the environment, we can definitely make it like a thing. And there's some competitions coming up locally. There's a Caffeine and Keels Invitational. If you guys want to sign up for that one and come down for that meet and have, 2 weeks of training or 1 week of training leading up to it or something. Or if you guys want to come down for AO finals, we can talk about that more later. We're kind of wrapping up the interview, so I don't want to
Yeah.
bore our viewers with our plans of training together. But again, thank you for your time.
Thanks, bro.
We'll talk more about training together afterwards. So yeah, dude. Again, thank you for your time. Wish you best of luck in all your endeavors. Thank you for sharing your story. I hope that if you are watching this interview so far, take notes. Take notes on what Zach said that made him successful. Take notes on his ideas on creativity, and remember that hard work pays off, especially when everybody else is sleeping and collecting paychecks from the government and just being overall lazy. If you're putting in the work, you're already doing more than, a lot of people. So put in the work, set your mind right, and be successful. Be who you want to be.
You mind if I tell people where they can follow me and whatnot?
Oh yeah, for sure. That's why I
Cool.
asked you about your social media earlier.
Yeah. Well, if you want to follow my personal account where I post all my lifting is Adventures of Zach on Instagram or Zachary Huse on Facebook. I don't really post any lifting on Facebook, but you can follow me on Instagram. And then if you want to check out my gym, Strength Works, and see what we're about, I'm pretty much on there every day posting stories and whatnot. It's just Strength Works, Strength_works. Check us out. We're in St. Louis. If you're ever in the area, come check us out. And then if you want to look at my pin designs and my art, you could check me out on Instagram. I've said check me out like 5 times, but check me out on Instagram, Zach's Pin Adventure. And that's where I post all of my art, my designs, and whatnot that I sell. So yeah, that's where you can find me. Thanks again for having me on. I appreciate you letting me talk about my story and my life, what I've been through, and what I'm trying to do with weightlifting and coaching and whatnot. Appreciate you, and we'll be out in Cali sometime soon, and we'll train together. It'll be fun.
For sure. And thank you for sharing your story.
Thanks, man.
Hope you have a good night, and thank you to everybody that's watching this.
Thanks.
All right. So I'm stopping this now.